Greetings, Algo Artisans. We're going to take a look at some charts, specifically NOTCOIN, Bitcoin, and the USDJPY. Just to round out the week, we're going to jump into the charts right now. Remember, nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause and read this disclaimer. Okay, so here we are. We're going to start with NOTCOIN, and this is looked at by many as a kind of a beta for TON. And TON is a coin that's got a lot of popularity, basically Telegram's crypto. TON itself is, it's held up pretty well considering that it more or less launched earlier this year, had a massive run up from half a cent to about 3 cents. So we had a 600% move up, all within the space of about a week and a half. That's pretty awesome. And then, of course, it did retrace. However, once it hit MEXC, it was at almost a cent. It was at 0.8 cents, and now it is well above that, almost a times 2 from its original listing price, and certainly quite a lot higher than its low. So NOTCOIN seems to have a lot of popularity, and just so you all remember, it's kind of somewhere between meme coin and GameFi. There's this kind of very simple game. You just sit there and click on it over and over again, and you generate some tokens, and I imagine that they're going to have more coming as the market warms up again, hopefully, I'd say by the fall time, and I mean the whole crypto market. So let's talk about where price might go in the near term and where price could go on the higher time frame. We're going to start by looking at the range that it's basically created. NOTCOIN has rotated more or less between 1.4, 1.7 cents, and that was going back to early July through late July. Now price has dropped a little below that and might be creating a range. We'll see about it. I think there's not quite enough data to say that it's created range, but it was pretty strongly protected. If you look really closely here, you'll see that there are some tweezer bottoms here on the 24th of July, and also a strong rejection upside at the end of June 23rd or so. And those wicks tell me, along with this move up, that this area down here is relatively protected, and that's below 13.5 cents down to about 12.8. Now, of course, price did dip down when Bitcoin was capitulating back around the 4th of July, as all crypto did, but it quickly bounced back up as soon as Bitcoin stopped capitulating. So I do get the feeling that outside of another capitulation, price should stay above 12.9 cents. And if price goes below that, I would consider that to be a pretty good buy zone for NOTCOIN. Again, Bitcoin could go ahead and break out soon, or it might rotate back down and grab liquidity. But either way, I think for the next 6 months to a year, anything below that's probably a decent price for a long-term buy. But again, this is not investment advice, so you're going to have to make your own decision, do your own research, and go from there. Now, there is a fair amount of liquidity in this prior range. I can even take it back a little bit farther. A lot of pivot points, and if price can manage to break really above about 17.5 cents, I think we might see price go ahead and retest 21.8 cents. But I do think that to break above 17.5 cents, we're going to be looking at the Bitcoin breakout quite possibly, or we're looking at a super long sideways movement of Bitcoin above $60,000. If Bitcoin can find some kind of equilibrium above 60,000 or even above 50,000 for several months in a row, we just see this huge llama market, but price doesn't go down, huge floor gets built, then of course a lot of these coins might start to pop off in anticipation of the next move up as the crypto players are looking to make some profit and pump some coins. So let's take a look at what might happen if we see a nice high time frame breakout. And this is actually done by using an impulse map. We're going to map the impulse from just below 0.5 cents all the way up to its high at about 3 cents. And then we're going to impose the Fibonacci tool on that because this is price discovery. And for price discovery, for where price has never been, I do prefer the Fibonacci tool for that type of forecasting. And we're looking at about 3.6 cents and about 4.5 cents roughly as the next highs, given that NOTCOIN can break that. And I do believe it can and will do so. Again, it is pending the Bitcoin breakout above 72,000 in my opinion. Certainly very, very strong opinion on that. Okay, so let's move on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin showing a little strength, and I was mapping earlier today what might be a breakout trade on this. I'm not sure that Bitcoin is ready to move up yet and break the top here. However, Bitcoin pulled down as we reviewed this morning, grabbed liquidity a couple of days ago around the $64,000 area, and I did think this might be a breakdown trade. Technically it was, but it never went to any kind of targets. I mapped out liquidity this morning, these yellow lines, that's where liquidity was. Let's go ahead and take another look at the Kingfisher algofactor.io and see if there's more liquidity. Okay, so a bit more liquidity added to the map, and there's a strong block from 64,300 all the way up to 65,400. So I'm going to go ahead and code that yellow. There was liquidity there before, but it's really built up along the day today, and that's because price has gone up and people have gone long, and their stop losses are down in this area, and a lot of people think Bitcoin is going to go ahead and make the big move up. However, we might see a pullback down to this area. Reason being that market's just not that strong yet. Now, the weekly is bullish, certainly, but you have a resistance right there, and as price negotiates that resistance, we might find that price pulls back down to grab liquidity before it goes up, and that's if it is going to go up. As it goes down to this area, if it goes down to this area, I will be taking a look at the rest of the metrics to see what might happen next, because it could be that price continues down. We're going to have to see how that goes. Let's take another peek at liquidity. We'll see that there's a little bit right above price at about 67,800, but most liquidity is downside and a lot of liquidity is downside. So much of the market thinks the price is going to head up. A lot of stops down in the 50,000 area. So we can see the market is gearing up for a move up, which might actually be that the joke is on them. Price may go down and dive to grab all that liquidity, but if that liquidity comes off as it's diving down, that might mean that it doesn't dive down quite as harshly either. So we're going to have to see how that goes. In the meantime, the weekly is pretty bullish. The monthly does show some signs that that could flip bearish, but for now, it could be seeing that move up to 72,000 to see that move past the all-time high and go from there. Now we got 67,800 is where a little bit of liquidity is to the upside, so we'll go ahead and mark that out. That's right above price, so price could just go there in the near term to grab this liquidity, negotiate the top of this minor range right here, this squared range, and then head back down after that. It's very possible. So this is where things lie right now with Bitcoin. If price is able to break above the top of this consolidation, basically break above 68,500, then we're looking at a potential move to test the top of the months long consolidation at 72,000, and that is that. Basically a similar report to what we talked about this morning, but just a little bit more advanced with more advanced liquidity data. Let's move over to USDJPY. The USDJPY is doing what I thought it might do, and there was a head and shoulder formation on a lower time frame, but it looks like that so far has been rejected. Let's take a look at what that looks like on the 30-minute chart before we get too far. I mean, essentially it broke out almost at the 272, which is our first Fibonacci based head and shoulders target, and made its way back down. So many might think that the head and shoulders here is invalidated. Technically, it did not hit that. It actually fell shy by 10 or 11 pips. So those who are a little more exacting would say that the head and shoulders is still on, but this dive down tells me maybe not. And the algos themselves are telling me the price is quite bearish on the high time frame. Definitely might be looking for a retest to the downside, which means the Japanese yen is probably getting stronger. I would not bet personally on that head and shoulders bottom. I might see a short-term move up as a possibility, but seeing the Japanese yen go to its prior lows, meaning seeing that this chart going to its prior highs, is not something I would bet on right now. I would bet on price probably ranging in this area somehow. It's already created kind of a low time frame range, a very tight range, some liquidity, and price might rotate around this for a bit. So we might see price do this, especially, it's Friday, it's slow, there's not a lot going on in the market, everybody's gearing up for the weekend. There's always that whole possibility, right? In the meantime, I would think that price will reapproach this 152 bottom because things are just bearish enough. And again, I think price will rotate most likely some kind of range down here. It might be this wide, might be tighter. I think we have yet to see how it develops, but that's what I expect for now as price decides what it wants to do. I think there's enough bullishness on the dollar, and there's been enough of an extension downward here for the dollar to see another bear market rally at best. And again, what we might have seen already, this move up that we did see, might be that bear market rally and it's exhausted. But for now, I think I see the volatility possibly falling off a little bit, ranging in this area. And until I see a break above 155 or a break below 150, 180 or so, I'm not really interested in trading this outside of any kind of range. So for me, I think it's going to be back and forth range trading. Just some algo stuff. That's it for now. Very exciting currency normally, lots of volatility, and if you can catch one of those real strong moves and you know what you're doing, you can take advantage of that and just scalp it. Very dangerous to trade if you do not know what you're doing, very tricky to trade, but the USDJPY is a moneymaker for the experienced trader. That's it for today. That's all the time we have. I hope this video was helpful. Please come over to algofactor.tech. We teach people how to build their own trading method, otherwise known as an algorithm. You don't have to know how to code, but if you do code, we can put you on the path to where you can build something that trades for you while you're not at the computer. If you just want to trade manually, which is what most people are doing, then that is, of course, something that we can help you do and help you have the capability to possibly extract money out of these markets on a regular basis. And while we do focus on crypto for a lot of these videos, I'm actually primarily a Forex trader, and you got to know that crypto doesn't go forever. It goes for about a year and a half, and then for a couple of years, there's not much going on in crypto. And if you want to be a trader, you're going to want to understand how to really trade, how to put on those big boy pants, because what's going to happen is eventually crypto's going to flatten out, and the meme coins aren't going to be what they used to be, most likely. I've seen it enough times. I've been in this game since 2017. I don't expect that to change. So come on over, learn how to trade. As a matter of fact, we got some pretty happy customers who are already down the path of success in their algo building. Let's hear from one of those right now.
Hey guys. So I've been in Algo Factory for around 10 months now. I held crypto, but I hadn't traded crypto or Forex before. Since joining, I've learned a massive amount that I use almost daily for trading, reading charts, using indicators, and understanding different aspects of the market. So I found the course incredibly easy to follow, and the interactive style of teaching is incredibly beneficial. So now that I'm comfortable in my trading ability, I'm starting to invest more capital, and projections are looking very promising. My goal is to be trading full time in the future, which I believe is highly achievable. I've met an amazing community of like-minded people and made some great friends. In my opinion, both V and Cowboy go above and beyond, and I highly recommend joining Algo Factory. Thanks for everything, legends. Cheers.
AlgoFactory.tech. Trade your job, upgrade your life, and we'll see you on the next one.